Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis, and today in Chaos Tactics I'm looking at a hypothetical 1 versus 1 battle of Angron versus Mortarion. So which demon Primarch will make their legion proud? Let's find out. So today, the 28th of March, still scanning the Warhammer community pages for interesting news about the new edition. And now we heard yesterday that the psychic phase will somehow be baked into the shooting phase or other phases. So it's something to wait and see what's going on. But in this video, I'm putting the demon Primarchs of the 12th and 14th Legion head to head, man versus man, demon versus demon, Primarch versus Trimarch, and who will bring glory to their god and their legion. Before I start, always very big thanks to my Patreon supporters, YouTube supporters, and everybody taking part of the discussions in the Discord channel. Starting off with Angron, let's look at his base stats and abilities. Angron is 360 points for the Primarch. He has a nice move of 16 inches. He can fly. He has 2+ weapon skill, ballistic skill, as befitting a Primarch. He has a very hefty strength 9 with base attacks, 12 attacks basically, so this is very, very high. He has only toughness 7. He has a 2+ save and a 4+ invul save, and he has the 18 wounds like his Primarch, his Demon Primarch brothers, Mortarion and Magnus. He can degrade with the wounds lost, degrading his move and attack profile, and he's equipped with the Seminarius and the Spire Grinder. And so with his very heavy melee weapons, he has a skull taking slash that is the strong attack with strength +5, AP -4, and damage D3 +3, or he has the bloodletting sweep, basically strength user, AP -3, damage 1, but then he makes 3 hit rolls. That would be 36 attacks if he's not degraded. As a World Eaters, he will be getting strength +1 and +1 attack on the charge or having been charged. He has an ability, Lord of the Arena, that he can give rerolls to World Eater's core and character units, all to hit. So he can, being a World Eater's character, he can give that to himself. But Mortarion, as we will see, can stop Angron from getting any rerolls in this battle. He has some auras and warlord traits that cannot really help him in the 1 versus 1 battle. He has buffs instead for his army. His other units getting benefits when they are close to Angron. He could potentially prevent Mortarion from falling back. In this battle, it will not have any significance as Mortarion doesn't want to fall back. And in a normal matched play, he can be revived by 6 blood tithe points, but his army is not with him in this one. So of course, a very high number of attacks, strong weapons in melee, and nicely buffing the World Eaters. Looking now at Mortarion, his base stats and abilities covered him quite a lot in my channel, of course. So we have Mortarion is more expensive, 450 points. He gets 3+1 Warlord traits. The 3 given are the 5+ Feel No Pain. Then he gets Arch Contaminator and Living Plague. The Arch Contaminator and Living Plague doesn't help him in the fight versus Angron here. And he can select freely 1 Warlord trait from the Plague companies, and of course maybe one of the best Warlord traits out there, the Gloaming Bloat of Mortarion's Anvil, gives him a 9-inch aura of contagion, where he can prevent any enemies from overwatching and no rerolls from to hit or to wound rolls. This is really strong, and thus he can prevent Angron from rerolling. This is really, really strong if you can use Mortarion to give you a very nice spread of this Gloaming Bloat. He has a very good defensive profile, toughness 8, so this will only allow Angron to wound on 3s. He has -1 disgusting resilience to the incoming damage. He has the 5+ Feel No Pain from his Warlord trait, and then he has a 3+ base save and 4+ invul save. So all in all, a very strong defensive profile. And he's also, on top of that, he has of course his Lantern pistol, and he's also a Psyker. He can cast 2 spells. In this case, Miasma of Pestilence would be nice, -1 to be hit that will help him versus Angron's attacks. And he can do, for example, a Smite to deal mortal wounds on the enemy. So, thinking about Angron's strategy in this game, basically Angron has a toolkit with only one type of tools. He's basically a melee beast. And Mortarion's Gloaming Blow will not allow him to do some rerolls, but the Butcher Nails don't allow, let's say, Corn for Angron to have a lot of fine, delicate strategy. So, of course, for Angron is getting in close and try to overwhelm Mortarion with a lot of attacks. He will use the heavy profile, the skull taking slash. It's a strength 14. He gets strength 15 when he is charged or having been charged. But unfortunately for Angron, he can't reach the strength 16. To get to wound Mortarion on 2 pluses, AP -4, damage D3 +3. So basically, he will be hitting on 2s with no rerolls and wounding on 3s, regardless if he's charged or not. When he's charged, of course, he has more attacks. Mortarion, he will in the command phase, he will select himself to get reroll all to hit. Mortarion will attempt to cast Smite and Miasma of Pestilence, the Miasma of Pestilence to protect himself, -1 to be hit. He will shoot the Lantern pistol before he charges and will shoot the Lantern in close combat. And in melee, he will use the Eviscerating profile of the Silence to deal the heavy damage profile. It's strength 16, AP -4, D3 +3 damage. Basically, he will be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, and wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s due to the plague weapon. Of course, here he doesn't have as many attacks as Angron, but with all these rerolls, he will not be missing a lot of attacks in the fight phase. And the battle sequence and the battle rules, the models are assumed to be close to each other, so they can shoot and charge on their first turn. There is a dice roll to see who goes first. They will not hide or run away. There is no other stratagems or command point rerolls assumed in this fight. If Mortarion gets the first turn, he will do the psychic, shoot, charge, and fight. Then Angron fights. Then it's Angron's turn, and then Mortarion will be fighting again, and then Angron fights. If Angron gets the first turn, the Angron will charge and fight, then Morty gets the chance to fight back, then he will do the psychic, shoot his pistol, then Angron will be fighting again, and then Mortarion fights again. So here are the results of the 200 simulations. We see that in this simulation, where I simulate all the dice rolls and everything is basically rolled, not the average expected values, we have a very strong win of Mortarion. Mortarion wins 172 of the 200 fights in this occasion, so more than 85% victory rate. Angron only winning 28 times. In the tables below Angron and Mortarion, you can see in the case of the battles how many wounds they are left with, and we see that there is a huge advantage for Mortarion, and we also see that a lot of the fights. For example, 44 of the fights, he doesn't even get wounded at all. He is left with 18 wounds. So there is a lot of potential that in this fight, Mortarion will not even be bracketed after fighting Angron. When we see on Angron's side, he loses most of the times, and even if he wins the fight, he's often left, let's say, with very few wounds left. On the table on the top, you can see how many times they won the first turn, so that was quite equal, the computer simulation here. But we see also when Mortarion goes first, he wins 97% of the time. When Angron goes first, he only wins 25% of the time. So just getting the first charge in can really is really impactful. But even then, even with Angron going first, he doesn't have a very high chance versus Mortarion. So reaching to the summary and final thoughts, Angron is, although a melee beast and Khorne's best fighter, he's no match for Mortarion in this hypothetical 1 versus 1 battle. The Death Guard Primarch is standing triumphant and brings glory to the 14th Legion. So in a full battle, Angron would be benefiting from blood tithes, making him more lethal if as more as the battle is going, and blood tithe points are used, for example, to get exploding sixes that 25% more damage output. Angron can also come back in a full fight with 6 blood type points. He will be starting with 8 wounds, and he can maybe try to avenge himself. And so if you are a World Eaters player and the opponent has Mortarion with Gloaming Bloat, you shouldn't just headlessly charge Mortarion if he's not, let's say, brought a bit down in the wounds with Angron. Maybe you would need some 8 pound to soften him up, and then Angron can come in. If you are Death Guard, if you have the opportunity for as Mortarion to charge on Angron, that would probably be a good idea. As you can see, the advantage is really on Mortarion's side here. You can also soften Angron up with some long range shooting, yeah. So this concludes the situation here with Mortarion being still having the advantage in basically any 1 versus 1 battle. So this concludes the video. What do you think about this analysis, and have you had the chance, maybe if you are a Death Guard player or a World Eater player, to have this matchup happen on the table? So let me know in the comments. If you want to discuss further, you can join the Discord channel, link in the descriptions. If you want to further support my efforts, please visit my Patreon page or become a YouTube member. And as always, stay safe out there and have a nice day. Bye bye.